Welcome to another episode of Staying Connected, where we explore the depths of self, the people around us, and our environment. We hope to uncover any life lessons through our experiences, reflect on meaningful relationships built along the way, and ultimately learn about one another through open and honest conversations. How's it going, guys? I am Kenny.
And I'm Scott. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So today's episode is about decisions that led to unintended consequences. So basically, the solution being worse than the problem. And I do have a story to share about that. Because, in life, you always want to help out your friends. And you always want the best for them, because that's your friend. One of my cases, I was trying to do too much for my friend. I was trying to help him too much, instead of letting him do the work, letting him see the value of hard work, letting him see the process, letting him take credit and appreciate his own hard work. But instead, I did all the work, and it kind of demeaned the entire process for him, and it didn't make it the experience valuable for him. So this was a couple years ago, and my friend was having some financial issues, right? And you hear it all the time is, oh, I'm spending way more than I'm making because I'm buying stuff and things for to make myself look better, feel better, to make other people praise me, to make other people look at me and like, oh yeah, he's so cool, or he's the man, or look at all the dope things that you're wearing, that new Supreme, So he was caught up in that cycle of just buying things with paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck, and he didn't really take time to take a step back and look at, okay, what are my fees, what are the different things that I need to take care of before whatever's left, and I can use that to play. So he came to me like, Scott, I need your help, man. It's like rent's coming up. I don't know what to do. I have no money. I have like $0 in the bank. I've just lost. I'm like, okay. And at that time I was full blown mode of just helping my friends no matter what. Like, you need something, I got you. You need that, let me help you with that. I would drop everything just to help my friends out. So I sat down and he explained his story to me of how, I can't help it. I have like repulsive buying, and he told me I just need some money for this month, pay for it. I'm like, cool, whatever. Because I'm super cheap. I don't want to say that. Let's take that back. I'm very selective in how I spend my money. If I'm gonna spend my money, it's gonna be like on something extravagant, or it's gonna provide me full value. Other than that, I'm investing everything back, because that's my goal, to put in at least 1.5 paycheck into my portfolio, just so it can keep the ball rolling. So I told my friend, yeah, I got it. I'll cover it. Don't worry. And then next month rolls around. He's like, oh, Scott, I don't know what to do. It's like the same damn story, right? It's like, oh, I need money. I'm like, dude, what the heck? It's like, I thought we talked about this. Like, we had like an hour or 2-3 hour long talk about, yeah, man, I'm going to start investing. I'm going to start saving my money. I'm going to stop worrying about what other people think about me, because I keep buying stuff to try and impress people that I don't even like. And then I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, but you know what? I'll cover you for this month, which is grave, one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. Because at this point, the story is going to keep continuing. He's not going to learn his lesson. And so be it. Third month rolls around. Oh, let's go. I don't know what to do, man.
It's okay. A pattern.
Yeah, exactly. But my need to help it overtook my logical thinking. Like, okay, this person obviously can't help himself, and he's just using me as a way to fix his means, as a way to like allow him to keep doing what he's doing. So I told him that I can't help you anymore. I can't, because then what started off as like trying to help him, now it came full blown. It's like now I'm involved, and now he's expecting me to help pay for his rent every single month, and he's gotten comfortable of the fact that Scott's he's gonna take care of me, because he's my friend, and he's a much better person now. But at the time, he said something that I will always remember. He told me, I thought we were friends. Friends do things for each other. Like, you remember that time where you broke up with your girlfriend and you're all sad, and then I came to help you. I was there for you. I'm like, yes, that's correct. You did do that. But that doesn't take away that your spending habits is destroying you right now. It's leaving you penniless. Now you have all these clothes and no one really cares about what you're wearing. You have all these fees that are adding up, credit bill cards, and he's not even worrying about all that. He's just living day to day, month to month, and he's always expecting someone else to take care of him. So I know I just had to cut him off. It's like I had to give it to him straight. It's like, hey, if you don't fix this, it's like I can't help you. And if you want to play that friends card, you can't. But you can. But if you're gonna go down that road, I can't be your friend anymore. So that was really hard for me because he did a lot of things for me too when I was down. But the difference was I had to stop being dependent on him. I need to start taking care of myself because that was the only way the problem was going to fix itself. I needed to be my own solution. And he didn't do that. And, eventually he had to hit rock bottom. And I told him, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen and guide you towards the right path. But I'm not going to take any more action. You need to be accountable for everything. You need to start saving on your own. I can show you how to do that, but I can't do it for you. I can tell you to stop spending, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop spending. So you got to take priority on like what's important in life. Are you going to keep living paycheck to paycheck, struggling, wondering what's going to happen next? Or are you going to start having a plan that will be able to give you that financial freedom one day in the future? And there is a happy ending to this. He eventually got his stuff together. He started asking me for help, and we basically laid out a plan. Like, okay, if you invest this much, if you save this much, if you don't spend money on this, every month you're gonna have $200-300 to play around with. But you should invest that or save it or whatever, not spending on anything. So it was kind of drastic where we had to I had to take his credit card. Like, you can't spend this. And he almost gave me the right to veto or block any payments. But I'm like, no, that's too drastic. So.
Oh, it's an interesting story. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. Clear. No, but yeah, it's an interesting background and just like how it kind of evolved into what it has become. First off, we live in Hawaii. It is not cheap to live in Hawaii.
True.
On top of rent and what you mentioned about your friend with his spending habits, yeah, it's definitely a struggle to live where we live. And yeah, kudos to you for being able to support him financially. But then, yeah, it becomes very dangerous when it becomes a pattern you see over time. And the fact that he was your friend, and we definitely want to help our friends as much as we can, there's a certain point where we just have to stop and really shake that person and let them realize, your spending habits need to change, or else I can't do anything anymore. And, I don't want this relationship to break off into something that it doesn't need to be. But, if you don't, for you to take that approach to say, if you don't listen to me, things will get worse from here. And Yeah, I mean, spending stuff on things you don't need necessarily in life. It's yeah, we've been through that phase where, you know, we're pretty dependent on like our parents, and all of that. But as we get older and we start having these bills that we have to pay, rent, car insurance, all of that stuff, we really have to take into effect our spending habits. And um, yeah, it's the phase of adulting, you could say. I guess um, you were an ingredient to help your friend kind of be more aware of just that responsibility that we all need to take eventually with our finances growing into, yeah, as we get older and all that. So
It's almost funny in the fact that the best way to help your friend is to like almost say no. Like,
it
hey, help
is,
me with this.
yeah.
No, like you want to put in a way where you're not like putting them down or like just flat out rejecting them. It's like, no, I can't do that for you, but what I can do is show you how to do it, and you do it. Because by them doing it, it becomes their plan, right? Because if you say these things, hey, you should do that, you should do that, it's your plan. Yeah, of course you're gonna follow your plan. But when it's their plan, they're taking all the actions, you let them put it into their words, they're more likely to follow up with it because that's their own words, that's their action, there's their creed, whatever, and they're more likely to follow through it or to continue this habit of like, okay, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna not spend it on habits because no, that's all them. And I think that's been a big valuable lesson for me is in order to help people, you gotta help themselves. You gotta get them started, like, and then you back away. Because if you try to micromanage, they're gonna be like, oh, this is too much. I can't do it. It's so big. That's why you
Mhm.
that's why you take a step back and you take it one step at a time. And then for my friend, it was like, hey, what's the first step? Let's take a look at your credit card transaction. It seems that you buy shoes a lot, okay, and
Yeah,
that's your biggest, like out of the pie. That's at least like 40% of the pie, the biggest slice. I'm like, how about we? You can still um, buy other stuff, but let's take away shoes and see what happens. And that's like for the first 2 weeks, because some people they can't go cold turkey. I'm not sure you can. I can't. So
yeah,
I go slowly. Let's take our shoes. He saved like a couple $100. Okay, what's next on the list? Okay, you buy um you buy a lot of shirts and pants. Let's take that out. But you can still go out and eat and have fun wherever.
mhm,
And then slowly we take away, you know. And then he's like, oh, that wasn't too bad. Like taking away shoes, taking away shirts, pants. That's not too bad. Let me try if I
yeah,
can reduce me going out. And then over time, it's like this is actually pretty easy. Like, instead of like taking everything away at once, because you have to remember that's what they like to do. That's what their passion is. And it's hard to just tell someone, hey, stop doing your passion.
mhm.
So
I
that's why
think,
I found to
yeah.
be successful.
And I think in addition to like the expenses, he really has to keep track of his bills, just to get an idea of like what exactly he needs to pay for his credit card bills, whether it's car insurance, like I mentioned, and rent, all of that. You really need to list all of those and physically, visually see what you need to pay for at the beginning of each month, and then look at side by side with your expenses because, I mean, ultimately, you really need to pay your bills. If you don't pay your bills, you don't have a roof over your head, you don't have clothes, you don't have food, all that. So, yeah, you really need to have that organization, structure that, yeah, you can kind of visually see what you're spending on and what you need to prioritize when it comes to
And that's the one thing about
finances.
credit cards. It's like you don't really see the transaction. When you have money in your hand, cash, right? And
Yeah.
you physically give away the cash, you feel that
Yeah.
attachment. Oh, like that's a lot of money. Like if
Mhm.
you paid in tens for like oh, that's a lot. You feel impacted by that. But when you swipe the credit card, you don't see that. So it's
You
like
don't.
guilt free. you keep swipe, and then only at the end you're like, holy, what happened? Everything added up.
You look at all
I
your
think
statements, and then all of a sudden you're just like telling yourself, "What the hell did I spend on?"
that's a very interesting psychological phenomenon that's going on. So I wonder if that was the intent of the credit card companies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, later on we'll talk about our recommendations. Eventually, I'll talk about something that kind of relates to this too. So, yeah, I mean, we're in holiday season, so just think about what people are expecting for this holiday season to spend on. It's crazy. So yeah, we'll talk about that later on as well.
But just a side note, like a lot of my friends, they're asking, "Oh, hey, what do you want for Christmas, bro? Like, do you want any pants, any shirt, any shoes?" And it's the same freaking guy that's like, that's in depth, like, bro, you can hold off on that.
Yeah, I mean, save him how many X dollars, pretty much.
Yeah, how about you save me $1,000?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's what he has to do. But yeah, I like how you took that approach into providing some solutions, because, when we get all caught up into our spending and just have no clue on how to get out of this debt, pretty much, we need some answers and some solutions. So yeah, providing alternatives, like you're talking about, just investing and all of that. I guess, I mean, speaking of rent and all of that, I don't know what his living conditions were, whether he lived with family or himself, all of that. I mean, finding roommates in Hawaii is a good solution. I mean, you save on rent and all of that. I mean, public transportation, I mean, you can never go wrong with that. You save a lot, especially if you live in town and all that. So finding solutions, alternatives to help you save money is pretty important, especially during these times when, the unemployment rate is pretty high, and everybody's struggling.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have to be your discipline. They'll take care of you. If you're not disciplined in saving, you're not disciplined on using your money wisely, that's exactly what's gonna happen to you. Your habits are gonna control you instead of you controlling your habits. And that's the funny dichotomy between discipline. It's because you're so strict with your money that later on you'll be able to do whatever you want with your money, because now it serves you. Your money is making money for you. So you don't even have to be at your job to make money. You can, take a nap or do whatever else, and you'll still be making money. So the earlier you are with being disciplined with your money, just the earlier you get to enjoy all that money, carefree.
Yeah.
All the guac you want in your.
Pretty much. And, I mean, was your friend single? Does he have a family?
Yes. No family. He was single, so he had no excuses.
Okay. See, that too, when you have kids. I mean, I don't have kids personally, but, I know I have friends that have kids, and they really tell me that their money pretty much goes to their family, their kids. And, for him to be single, it's pretty lucky, you could say, because as we get older, our financial, I guess, priorities will change eventually.
So, kids are expensive.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the number is like for each.
They say in 18 years you're gonna spend $1 million on a kid. Like,
oh man,
yes.
Think of that.
Maybe less. Still.
I mean, we don't want to discourage anybody from getting kids, but yeah, just keep that in mind.
Hey, but if you're disciplined with your money, have as many kids as you want.
There you go. That's one thing.
All right. But how about you, Kenny? You have any stories about unintended consequences?
Yeah, I mean, I had to think about this one and see what kind of stood out. But I mean, I guess most recently, so with this whole pandemic going on, we were kind of distant from like our family, friends, physically kind of thing. And I guess eventually when we in Hawaii, when we were able to meet up with people, go to dinner with people outside of our homes, kind of like that, I caught up like a couple of my friends that I haven't seen in a while. And yeah, one night we just decided to go to dinner, catch up, and it was all nice. And I guess one of our friends was asking like, "Hey, let's take a photo together." It was actually four of us at dinner that night, and yeah, so I decided, oh yeah, let's take a photo all together. And just a little background behind all of our friends that went out. So there was myself, another guy, and one girl. So guy and the girl, they previously were in a relationship together.
Right.
And then I guess little did I know that, it was off and on between like with their relationship throughout the years that I'd known them. And at dinner, I didn't know if they were together or not. And so yeah, that was like, I didn't ask them till like, I found out after the fact. So basically, yeah, guy and girl were together. The other guy was just like a mutual friend. So he was, yeah, just there. But so we decided to take the photo, and then yeah, I sent the photo to everybody, and I guess I posted the photo like on social media, and that is when I guess later that night, but the guy friend told me, "Hey, can you take down the photo like ASAP because you know the girl and I are not together anymore,
Oh,
and I'm talking to a new girl, and if she sees that photo of us all together, especially with that girl, the girl that I'm talking to, she's gonna leave me pretty much." So, okay, so I didn't see the text till like the next day, and at that time it was kind of too late already because like social media for me, my social media is public, and that's one thing we will have to kind of think about, like, do we want to keep ourselves public or private? But my stuff is public, and it's easily accessible to see all the photos. And I guess it wasn't enough time for me to like take down or the guy's potential
right.
yeah girlfriend to see to not see. So the next morning I woke up to like this long ass text saying, "I am disappointed in you because you posted a photo that first off, I mean, you didn't ask to post and all that. But in the past I've posted photos like just regularly and it was fine. But I guess in this case, it was just um, it really um, made that person very angry because it was just that potential to start a relationship with that girl. So
Right.
um, I mean that yeah, it was an unintended consequence that I never really thought would occur to me. So yeah, I mean the lesson that I learned from this was you gotta ask to post.
Are you guys still friends?
We are
Or
still friends.
there?
It was just that for a couple of days it was just that disappointment. Because I was happy to see everybody was happy to see each other after not seeing each other for so long, and
Right.
that one photo just like went just kind of changed the whole situation upside down. And yeah, we talked about it, and we talked about just moving forward, let's make sure that, especially like when we're all together, because the guy and the girl, I mean, even though they've broken up, they are still friends, all of that. Um, and what is it? Yeah, whenever we hang out together, we really need to like ask each other, should we post the photo? Should we not? And yeah, so we just tried to find a solution to this. And yeah, it was a lesson learned pretty much that, whenever you post something on social media, before that, you got to ask permission. So, I mean, I truly felt sorry and all that. It wasn't intended to kind of sabotage anybody pretty much. So, and it was just a case of being unaware of what the status was between my friends and their relationship. So that was it. And
I
yeah,
do have
yeah.
I do have a few questions.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think my thought process is, if you're gonna take a picture with your ex and you're afraid that the next girl that you're talking to is gonna get jealous and not want to date you, it's kind of like, why would you want to date that girl in the first place if she's gonna be really insecure about an ex? That I know that's just my thought process. I'm not sure you have any thoughts about that. It's like, if this girl's can be really insecure from the start, I don't know what you want to do. But I
think I mean, of course, me being unaware till after the fact, I really had to like think deeply about like, the potential girl that he was talking to, if she was really too insecure about this situation and all that. Because, it's like I'm friends with both of them like equally. And well, like, pretty much over the years. And, I don't want to end up hanging out with either or and all that. So, so it brings us back to like insecurities and all that too. So
I think another big point that I take away from this is like, if I was ever in the same situation and I was the friend, I think I need to take initiative and like tell you, hey, Kenny, just not sure if you're in the loop or not, but like, me and so-and-so, we're not together anymore. So I just wanted to put it out there. And there is a girl that I'm talking to, and it might affect my chances if this gets posted. So I think it just makes it easier when people take the initiative themselves. Like, if they don't want something to happen, you can't wait for it to happen and then like tell someone, hey, take that down, and then rely on someone else. So it's kind of like similar to my story of how like you want something to happen, but you got to do it yourself. You got to take initiative. You can't have that dependence, because let's say what happens, like you didn't reply on time, you're busy or whatever, and then now those were the consequences. Like, you have to live with that because you didn't take initiative to set things into motion. You weren't your own solution. That's what I'm saying. Life gets a little easier when you take accountability for it. Like, hey, Kenny, don't post that because so and so and so. Keep your friends in the loop. Like, if you don't want to have that conflict,
that's all.
You tell your friend, like, hey, that girl, that, like, hey, can you not talk to her? Because I'm trying to talk to her. Like, make things easy for your friends by having open, honest conversation, because they're your friend, right? They're not gonna get offended, and if they do, you need new friends. So,
we shouldn't be questioning a lot and all of that. So it is. It was a lesson that really opened my eyes to all of that. And I mean, of course, asking permission to upload anything on social media is also something we all need to consider as well.
That's also a very noteworthy thing. It's like asking permission to post something on social media, because that's the norm nowadays.
It is.
If I see something, I'll just post it, but and I don't really understand the consequences, what would happen to the people that's involved. So I don't think that's something we think too much of. I'm just trying to think about an example that I had. I don't think I have one other than just like my friend was supposed to, he ditched school, and then I had a day off, and then I posted, like I was hanging out with him, and then like one of the friends reposted it, and then the
Oh.
teacher saw it, and I'm like, oh, sorry, dude, but should have ditched school in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. And I mean, Hawaii is small too, so a lot of people kind of know each other. Yeah. So that was, yeah, lesson learned. All of that. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go ahead then. We'll just jump into recommendation of the week.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I got something. So I guess going back to your story about your friend and his finances and spending habits, we are in holiday season, and um, we all get all hyped up about Black Friday. And you know, holiday season is such a, I guess, very expensive time for anybody. And with this current pandemic taking place and the unemployment rate is skyrocketed, how is everybody going to spend the holidays? And I guess my recommendation is, you know, skip out on spending too much on during the holidays. Skip out on Black Friday. There's other alternatives to, yeah, spending your time during the holidays. Whether it's spending time with family, um, taking a walk in the park, kind of thing. Avoid. I think I seen this headline saying, "Skip the parking lot, just walk, take a walk in the park instead." So, yeah, really consider your alternatives to, yeah, skipping out on Black Friday, because it is a time where people go crazy over things that they don't need necessarily in life. Um, what we need is just everybody to, at this point, like, stay home, because we are still dealing with this pandemic, and it'll be like this till the end of the year. And yeah, so there's different solutions to your spending habits during the holidays. And I know with a lot of families that have kids that are expecting this toy and all that, um, it's never too late to kind of just educate them on, you know, what's going on currently, especially like if you're a struggling family, you don't have enough finances to buy that toy that everybody has, um, or wants. So yeah, educating your children to, yeah, kind of like save money at a young age, and yeah, just be aware that, you know, your spending habits will become, I guess, what is it? Your spending habits can change over time, but you just really have to discipline yourself on what your habits will be in the long run. So financial education.
I'm thinking about a time when I was growing up, and I remember we didn't have a lot when we were growing up, and I think my my parents were working their ends meet just to like buy us gifts. And at that time, even though I was little, I understood that, like, you know, we were going through something pretty tough. You know, there's like 4 or 5 of us on one single bed, and I was just absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
But you know, I remember telling my mom that, you know, you don't need to buy all these gifts for us. So it's okay. Let's just go ahead and save that money, or let's spend it on you, because you're working 2 jobs just to make sure we're all you know, going through life and just enjoying our youth. So we can save that money and or spend it on you, because, you know, I think that's what I want for Christmas.
Yeah.
When I was growing up. So yeah, it's just I think I was lucky in the fact that I understood that when I was young. But yeah, parents can definitely take this opportunity to really educate their kids because kids, even though they're little, they're not, they can still understand what things are going through. And I think a lot of times we do underestimate, their capabilities and what they're, what they really can do for us. And they know a lot more than we think they do. So let's keep educating them. We don't have to raise them up on material goods, so.
Yeah, we live in a very materialistic society. Yeah.
All right. My recommendation is, I was going back and forth about this, and for this podcast, I didn't want to get too political, but by the time this episode releases, we would already have a new president-elected candidate. But no, I've been looking. I think we both have over social media, and people have been so overwhelmed and overtaken by the election and the politics, and it's driven some of my friends like into emotional depressive state, into like a high anxiety emotional state, and it's just pulling them across the spectrum left and right. And they've wrote like, sometimes like I feel like I don't have control, and I feel like I'm always having these mood swings. And that's the thing about politics, in my opinion, is you need to understand what's going on. And I think, we're gonna talk more about politics in this podcast, in future episodes, because we need to understand what's going on. But what we need to realize is that you can't get too deep into it. You can't get overwhelmed by it. And by the time that happens, you're just going to be in an emotional state, and you won't be able to think logically, and that's the only way I feel politics benefit us, when it's through calm, rational decision making. And that's my recommendation for the week. Like, understand what's going on. How do electoral college votes work? How does law get passed? What's the different policies that each candidate has? But then don't go into the rhetoric of like, oh, this candidate is trying to do this candidate is trying to do that, all the negative and all the stories that these big news networks is trying to sell you, because they do have an incentive for that. So that's my goal. Don't get emotionally controlled, or as I call it, voodooed, by all these stories. But do know your facts, because if you don't know what's going on, you're gonna get controlled. You're gonna get pulled in a certain way. But if you know way too much and you get involved in all that, then you're gonna get control. So it's this sweet middle ground of understanding what's going on, but still being conscious of like, okay, that's what's happening. This is what I need to do to start planning for that. I need to start maneuvering in the right way to best set myself up, for when politics do kick in. So just being aware and not getting, completely sidetracked by everything.
I mean, I'm completely amazed at just the overwhelming turnout of voters this election, not just locally, but this in the nation. A lot of people, like a lot of generations, you could kind of see that, generations throughout the nation went out and voted. And I guess it was a time where people wanted to share their voice and try to find a way to just change.
It was definitely more emotionally driven, and I understand. So hopefully I always wish the best for whoever's in office to do well. I would never wish bad on them, because if they do well, that means we do well, and that means everyone gets to prosper. So that's I think this is a good note to end on that.
Yes.
Thank you again for everyone for tuning in and joining us for this episode.
We definitely appreciate all of you for tuning in. Like this podcast will air during the holiday season, so we're pretty thankful that you've all been just tuning into staying connected throughout the past how many episodes. And yeah, we're very grateful for all of your comments and yeah, just being able to stay connected with us. And we hope that we can continue sharing our experiences and hopefully finding more solutions to our like everyday issues going on, and yeah, to just talk it out openly.
Don't forget to follow us on social
Yes.
media, on Instagram, Staying Connected, Twitter, Staying Connected HI. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Staying Connected. So follow us there. And
we are on
big things coming. So we're gonna keep getting better, and yeah, and we're gonna perhaps have our first guest next week. So that'll be very interesting.
All right, thank you guys. Continue to stay connected with us and stay safe out there. We'll see you again next week.